Arsenal, you're going to be pretending like you're going to win it. But
I really wanted Arsenal to win that league. I mean,
it's not what you want. It's not what you want. It's what the powers that be want.
Exactly. You can look at it from that way. But in football perspective, I would really have wanted Arsenal to
it would have been an insult to the Premier League if Arsenal had won the Premier League. Let's be very honest. If
by insult to me,
like the quality of players, they're not good enough to win the league. They are good enough to make the top 4. Even being in second place is an insult to the league. Let's be very honest here. Arsenal doesn't have a team that deserves to be called league champion. Like, oh, this is the league champion. No, they don't have it. Look at Barcelona winning the league in Spain. Considered 9 goals before that last game against Espanyol. Considered 2 goals to make it 11 goals. Arsenal were going to concede against any opposition that stood up in their face. Arsenal were going to break down anybody that stood up in their face. And then there were times where they were just sheer lucky. Arsenal played some beautiful football. Same way when they were not even making the top 4, Arsenal is known for always playing beautiful football. So let's not use the beautiful football to say, oh, that's an excuse why they should deserve to be champion. Truth is, when you deserve to be champion, there are certain things you can do in a season that shows, okay, yeah, this is what being a champion is. If you look at the game against Everton, away at Goodison Park, that game, that's not a team who deserve to be champion. You look at the game, the first leg against Southampton that they drew, and then the second leg that they drew against Southampton, that's not a team who deserve to be champion. You don't go 2 goal up against West Ham after the Liverpool game. I can take the Anfield game that you have is a deja vu feeling. It's a place that you don't go and win. Arshavin have gone to Anfield before, scored 4 goals, he didn't end up on the winning side. So I'm not one person who look at Arsenal and say, oh, they didn't win at Anfield is the problem. As a matter of fact, going there to get a draw is an improvement on what really is. But when you look at Arsenal and in places where they have failed this season, you will say to yourself, any team that wants to be champion should not be dropping points in these places. And that's the measure of who they are. A team, I don't judge a team on what they do when they are in their element, on their day. On any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody. You see what happened in the NBA? Everybody said, oh, this has happened before. The Golden State Warriors are going to take the Lakers apart, especially LeBron James. But then they dig deep and then they turned the result around. Okay, it was like when the captivity of Zion was overturned. They were like their dream. So you look at the Arsenal team and you say to yourself, was there a point in this season where Arsenal could really have dug deep and get results? Yes, against Brighton, Reece Nelson came from the bench and scored 1 lucky goal, and everyone says, oh, this is the mentality. No, it's not a mentality. And if you see the way Arsenal were celebrating some wins, you will know that these guys don't even believe that they were going to win. Again, Arsenal actually started thinking of title challenge in the middle of the season. Arsenal started this season with a clock on, we must make top 4. We must avoid what happened last season by making top 4 and settle that top 4 position before the end of the season. Once Arsenal's top 4, if you look at it, 10 games to go, Arsenal's top 4 was needing just 6 more points. By 8 games to go, Arsenal's top 4 was guaranteed. Now it was not placement, whether they are going to end in 2nd or 3rd. Once that was guaranteed, look at it from the 10th game to the end of the season, Arsenal were off. Their gas were off. Arsenal have lost more games, dropped more points in the last 10 games of this season than they did in the whole 28 games before. Last season again, go back to last season again, Arsenal dropped more points in the last 10 games of the season. 5 defeats in 10. 5 defeats in 10. Dropped more points in the last 10 games of the season than they did in the whole course of the season. My point here is, Arsenal did not set up themselves as a team that wanted to win the league title. Even when Man City were strolling, you could see the attitude, the body language of Pep Guardiola, like, I don't know what you're saying, but this team is the team in front of us.
So it's safe to say, bringing in the likes of Zinchenko, who's been part of the City winning side, Gabriel Jesus, Arteta was also...
What's to get in the top 4? Arsenal's major pursuit, let's be very honest, Arsenal's major pursuit was top 4. At the beginning of the season, if you give any Arsenal fan a top 4 finish, 2nd position on the league table behind Manchester City, they will bite your hand and take it. And if there are people who wouldn't even accept that Arsenal will make the top 4 based on how last season ended, with all the signing that they signed, and even if they are going to make the top 4, probably 4th position or probably 3rd, not 2nd. So when you look at this and then you judge it based on that, you say to yourself, Arsenal was never a title contending. It's here fans are always emotional. Fans get very emotional. They get over themselves and they jump on themselves, begin to buy things that they don't have the money for. So Arsenal were already dressing up for title parade and the rest. And with the energy that comes from the YouTube channel AFTV, you almost kind of like think that Arsenal are champions already. No, they are not. Even the players cannot tell you that they are champions. They don't really have what it takes to be champions of the Premier League. And it would have been an insult to the Premier League for what's his name now, Erling Haaland, to score this number of goals, break all this record, and then end up with the team that's not winning the title. Come on, what's that?
All right, Edu has hopping on the show. I think one of the first earliest comments we've gotten on the show. Still on the Arsenal issues, he said, I think Elegbete is the only one of few Arsenal fans who didn't believe they would go on to win the league. So, but how do Arsenal build from this? Do you see them challenging for the title again next season? So quickly.
I like to say this, that the rebuild was always going to be a process. When Arteta came in, I remember saying to you guys in our family WhatsApp group, I said that it's going to take him 5 years to contend for title. This is his third season, or probably 2.5 season. Let's say it's third season. And in this space that is being on, one of the things that is very clear, and for me, is the fact that no matter how you look at Arsenal, there's been massive progress from perennially not making the top 4 to now making the top 4. And this season, whether you like it or not, Arsenal will be seen as a team that contended for the title. Almost 240 days on top of the league table, but it is who stays on top at the end of the season that really counts. From the one, I kept saying that I don't see Arsenal winning the league title. I don't see them because they were a first 11 team. And then again, there is a tactical mistake that Arteta made, and that's what rookie mistake. When Arsenal had injury problem and the squad was narrow, they bonded together more. When Gabriel came back, Arteta continuously was making its selection mistake. So in the course of the league, a player like Trossard came in and became better in making assists, making more runs. But once Gabriel Jesus came back, he started playing him ahead. It wasn't about form, it wasn't about fitness. It was just about, Gabriel is my big player, let him play, I want to satisfy him. And I think that took a little out of the team. Again, Arteta didn't know the time to pick Zinchenko and Tierney. There was always that. You could tell that this guy doesn't know, and the body language of the players was beginning to tell that some people were not happy because it wasn't because of their form that they were not being picked. That's why we're playing against some teams that needed a wide man that will run into the channel and pull in the crosses in. And Tierney was a better player for that job than Zinchenko. Arsenal would, you will see him play. The Southampton game, for instance, you needed a Tierney more than you needed a Zinchenko. The game against, which other team again? The game against West Ham, for instance, you needed a Tierney more than you needed a Zinchenko. But hey, he's the coach. I can't fault him because what he's achieved this season, if you play the way you play, the way Arsenal played this season, and you ended up second, just behind Man City, I don't think anybody, analyst or commentator, anybody have the right sense to criticize you. So looking at Arsenal, you're always going to judge it from last season. Last season they ended up in 5th. Okay, they blew their chance of making the top 4 and they ended up in 5th. The problem with Arteta, the only way you want to criticize Arteta is Arteta should stop ending the season in pains. Last season was an improvement on the previous season, but then they almost made the top 4. They had the top 4 in their hand, and then they blew it. Last 5 games, it was Crystal Palace first. They lost to Crystal Palace 3-0, the 2-1 or so. They lost to Newcastle 3-0. Lost to some teams that they shouldn't be losing to. And those 5 defeats, 4 defeats leading up to the game against Tottenham Hotspur that they lost, just meant that the top 4 hope evaporated right in front of them. Again, they've had a great run. I'm not saying that I saw them winning the league title, but now that you have accidentally find yourself in this place, last 10 games again, you blew it. So it's becoming like a tradition now. I hope it doesn't continue for long. So you now say, the coach that crumbles in the last 10. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to create a Balak situation with Mikel Arteta. Ballack is the guy who always get to the finals and don't lose. 2002 World Cup finals lost. Play with Bayer Leverkusen in the finals of Champions League lost. Play with Chelsea in the finals of the Champions League lost. Every time he plays in the finals of a major competition, he loses it. Arteta is not going on to look like the coach who goes, lead everybody to the promised land, show them on the mount, and then like the Moses, he doesn't make it. I hope that they make good signings, do away with some players like Granit Xhaka. I think Granit Xhaka should go. I think a few other players should be let go, and then build the team to say we're competing. Definitely Arsenal is not going to win Champions League. Arsenal is not a Champions League winning team. Compete for the title. Even if you don't win it, don't crumble the way you crumbled this season. Learn from your mistake and then do better. That's just all I can say anyway.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.